Ford builds them for the Kuwait oil field. But today, Ian and Jesse show you how to build a SORP truck for work and play. Plus, two-wheel legend Jeremy McGrath hangs with the big boys now. Watch him make the switch from motocross to trophy trucks. Today on Xtreme 4x4.
Welcome to Xtreme 4x4. I'm sure you guys know that over half of the new vehicles on the road today are trucks. And it seems as though the new trend from the manufacturers are borderline off-road trucks. Kind of like the new Dodge Power Wagon. Even Toyota has reissued their classic FJ series.
But what if you want a real off-road truck? Something that's hardcore, with heavy-duty skid plates, functional bead locks, and a little bit of power to get you out of trouble. Well, nobody builds that truck. Or do they? This is the Ford SORP truck, a special off-road production vehicle based on the Powerstroke F250. Ford builds these trucks in limited quantities, but you can't buy one unless you're a corporation or government that needs a truck that can survive in places that don't have roads, like oil fields, mining facilities, and private security vehicles in third world countries.
The SORP trucks have suspension upgrades, power adders like performance exhaust, heavy-duty bumpers front and rear, but since you and I can't buy one, the only other option is to build one like we're going to today. We're going to start with this bone stock 2006 F250 Super Duty. We'll upgrade the suspension, add a set of bead locks, real off-road tires, heavy-duty bumpers, and give it some more power under the hood.
Now this project is going to start with a complete new suspension system from Skyjacker. Now this truck is going to be driven every day, so we've gone with a pretty moderate 4 inches of lift. It's going to have Nitro 8000 shocks at all 4 corners, new coil springs up front, radius arm drop brackets, a heavy-duty sway bar, and their newest adjustable skid plate. To get the lift in the rear, the kit includes new soft ride springs. These all-American steel springs are shot-peened for extra strength, and the leaf packs are secured using bolt-style spring clips to eliminate friction between the leaves and allow for more articulation.
To get the lift on the front end, we're going to be using these new diesel coil springs, and to keep all our alignment angles in check, we'll be using these drop brackets. This truly is one of the easiest lift kits to install in the front of a Super Duty. Like all Skyjacker suspension systems, this kit comes with DOT-approved stainless steel braided brake lines.
Now a steering stabilizer is very similar to a shock, except that it's laid on its side. Now this nitrogen-charged cylinder is here to remove any kickback or feel in the steering wheel when you drive your truck off-road, especially with larger tires. Now in this truck, we're going to install the Skyjacker Dual Hydro 7000 series stabilizer. Basically anchors off the front axle and then attaches to this front crossover bar. Once this is bolted up, we can go ahead and install that skid plate that we showed you earlier. Made from 1/8-inch thick steel and dimple dyed, the chrome powder coated skid plate is also adjustable to fit lifts from 2 to 8.5 inches.
To help keep this truck's on-road stability, we've installed this heavy-duty sway bar, as well as these Skyjacker Nitro 8000 shocks on all 4 corners. They're equipped with multi-stage velocity-sensitive valving, which means the faster that these cycle, the stiffer the shock gets. This in turn will help keep our tires on the ground.
Now while the truck's up on the hoist, we're going to install a little piece of that power package that we talked about earlier. Now as you guys have figured out by now, diesels are basically detuned from the factory, and you can get in there and pull some serious numbers out of them just by adding things like high flow exhaust systems or programmers. Now we're going to use the Bully Dog Triple Dog Power Pup in this truck and their 4-inch rapid flow exhaust. Now, I know what you're thinking, another programmer and exhaust kit on a diesel. Well, the reason we do it is it works, honestly. We're going to be able to pull an extra 140 horsepower to this truck just by using these two things. And the best thing is this just isn't a catback exhaust system. This is a completely new exhaust, from the head pipe all the way back to the rear bumper. The only thing we're going to use out of that truck is the catalytic converter.
Later on, Jesse takes our SORP truck out for a performance test. But up next, what humbles a 10-time Supercross legend? How about 800 horses? Jeremy McGrath's trophy truck debut. Stay tuned.
Hey, we're back on Xtreme, and I was just about ready to find out what Ian's most favoriteest thing is that he's done since we started Xtreme.
I think my most favoritist, as you like to say, would be a toss-up between driving the Ramnator monster truck or even like all the projects we build. No one gets to build the stuff we build, so it's kind of a tie.
Mine's close, but mine is driving Greg Adler's CORR truck. That was so awesome when we were in Denver, remember that? I almost peed my pants, it was so cool.
Now at the CORR race in San Diego, we found a guy who made the switch from 2 wheels to 4 just for the rush.
With 200 career wins, 12 titles, best-selling video games, as well as appearances on Jay Leno and MTV, Jeremy McGrath single-handedly brought motorcycle racing into the mainstream.
As far as competing full-time professional motocross guy, that's gone.
Now 34 years old and semi-retired, Baldwin Racing hooked him up with a CORR ride for 4 races.
Probably the closest thing you can get to motocross without being on a bike. So I think that's the appeal to it. I mean, you can get a lot of air, you have a lot of horsepower. It's pretty hairball, and the adrenaline gets going for sure. I'm loving it.
Making the jump from 2 to 4 wheels required a whole new approach to tackling the track.
With a bike, you lean the bike, you hit the rut, you turn, you accelerate. And when I first started driving the trucks, I was spinning out a lot because I would flick the truck in the corner and then just stomp on the gas. And so I would spin out. Everything's a little bit more of a delayed reaction, and I'm figuring that out.
He's not the first to drive down this path of discovery.
There's a lot of guys that have had a lot of motorcycle experience.
After winning 10 Baja 1000s on a motorcycle, Larry Rossler went on to win Baja in a truck. He believes Jeremy has the training needed to compete.
There's definitely a learning curve, but I think, you know, the motorcycle pro rider, our learning curve is a lot quicker. It's a lot faster. It crosses over a lot of it. Reading the terrain, having a feel for the equipment, having a feel for the suspension. Those are things that a good motorcycle rider can transfer over.
Jeremy's ride is a far cry from the 250 cc's he's used to.
This is the truck that Baldwin Racing has built for Jeremy McGrath, and this thing is bad. So this machine here would roughly cost around $250,000. It's a Ford F-150. This thing will haul the mail. It puts out 850 horsepower, 750 foot-pounds of torque.
As lead mechanic for the #2 machine, the glare of the spotlight doesn't rattle Ryan Wagoner.
There's a lot of pressure riding, but all eyes are on Jeremy McGrath. It's just you got to keep your head and stay focused and do what you come out here to do, and that's to get first place. Being
this close to racing royalty made this seasoned wrench a little starstruck.
Having someone like Jeremy McGrath, you grew up watching him on TV, and as a little kid watching him race and want to, just meet him and hang out with him. And having the chance to do this is just like a dream come true to me.
Even the veterans were a little gaga over the rookie driver.
He's going to be one of the youngest guys out here. He's born again, so to speak.
Well, I think it's extremely exciting to have guys like Jeremy. He's obviously an incredibly talented person, and he's going to do very well at this.
After finishing in the top 5 of his first 3 races, some drivers couldn't help being a little jealous.
There are probably a few guys that are a little upset that I come in and get the best truck out here and get this opportunity because they've been doing it for such a long time, and maybe some of them never even finished where I finished so far. So I could see where they'd be a little bit upset, but for the most part, everyone's been awesome.
Heading into the final race, anything less than victory would be unacceptable.
I've been a little bit conservative up to this point, but today's the final day and it's time to let it hang out.
Running 4th, a mechanical problem forced an early retirement. McGrath handled the setback like the champion he is.
Stuff's gonna break a lot more than it does on a motorcycle. So, you know, happens. The experience has been something I'll never forget, and if I never do it again, it's been an unbelievable ride, but we'll try and see what we can work out for next year.
You know, it's been over 20 years since Jeremy's been considered a rookie, and even though he was, we gotta say, he did a really good job.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a ride next year. And speaking of rides, we got quite a few more improvements to do on our Super Duty, and then we get to take her out in Thrasher. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Xtreme 4x4, where we're right in the middle of building our Ford Special Off-Road Production Truck, or SORP truck for short. Now we've already got a 4-inch suspension underneath this thing, and now that we have it down off the lift, we can put in the rest of the power adders to match that Bully Dog rapid flow exhaust. Now it's going to start with this Bully Dog Triple Dog Power Pup programmer that's going to program our PCM to give us more power, up to 140 horse. And when to control that and run on the road, we're going to mount this Bully Dog Outlook monitor up onto the A-pillar of our truck. The Triple Dog hooks into the truck's diagnostic port and uploads a new program into our truck's PCM. This downloader will work with Chevys, Dodge, and with Fords, and is transferable between vehicles. To keep an eye on our engine, we will mount the Outlook monitor into the A-pillar pod.
I've moved into the paint booth to show you some of those heavy-duty pieces we were talking about. The SORP truck uses trail-ready bumpers both front and rear. We ordered ours in a bare steel instead of the optional powder coating so we can paint it to match the truck. Designed in 3D computer modeling, the trail-ready bumpers have a 3/16" skin and a 1/4" subframe, making them some of the strongest and lightest aftermarket bumpers. There's no air. Our truck is the King Ranch two-tone, so I'm painting the bumpers PPG Arizona beige to match the bottom portion of the truck. Since the bare steel is clean and prepped, I can spray on the primer, followed by the base coat, and finally a couple coats of clear for durability.
Since this truck is going to see just as much work as it is play, we thought it'd be best to put in some kind of bed liner. Now we could take the truck down to a local dealer and have a spray-in liner put in, or we could buy one of those big drop-in plastic one-piece liners. But this time we decided to try something different. This is basically a bed liner in a box from Dualcom. Now this thing is fully shippable right to your door, comes in multiple pieces, and it's simple to put in. With the front and side pieces in place, the bed mat simply rolls out to complete the install. Now the final step would obviously be to install this tailgate cover onto our tailgate, but for this truck, we got something else in mind. We're going to replace our tailgate with this tire gate from Wilco. This tubular constructed tailgate simply replaces your stock tailgate using all your factory fasteners. Not only will it allow us to carry a full-size spare, but since it still swings like a tailgate, you'll get a great look and you can still use your truck as a truck.
They're done. What do you think?
They look lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Now that the bumpers are painted, we can go ahead and install them. The best part about these bumpers is they mount right into the original locations of the original bumpers.
Hold on, it's gotta go up.
The rear bumper has diamond checker plate for foot treads and openings for rear auxiliary lights.
Now the front bumper also has provisions for auxiliary lighting, but they're recessed back in this housing to protect the lenses when we're off-road. And it's also drilled and cut to accept most popular planetary winches. Now since the F-250 is not a lightweight truck, we opted for Ramsey Winch's Patriot 15,000. This winch has a 251-to-1 planetary gear ratio, comes with 90 feet of 7/16 grade aircraft quality cable, and all the relays and switches to control this winch are housed in this water-resistant housing. To make the install easier, we enlisted the help of a couple of buddies so we won't scratch Jesse's new paint job.
Who scratched the bumper?
And like the rear, it mounts to the factory location. Thanks, Lou.
The last thing we need to install today are the wheels and tires. Now get ready for this. These 17x9 trail-ready wheels are the first ever production prototype DOT-approved bead locks. That means we can still air down when we need to off-road, but we can still balance them so our on-road capabilities won't have any issues. Wish me luck. And
Jump with your right. Hold on, let me move your hand. Now with the wheels all taken care of, we can have a look at the tires. Now for this truck, we chose Nitto Mud Grappler 35x12.5. Now this is a great dual purpose tire, but it really shines off-road because of this aggressive tread with this high void ratio that'll really clean out well when you're tearing it up off-road.
Next, Jesse gets thrown the keys to this newly tricked out F-250. See how this Ford handles her punishment when Xtreme 4x4 continues.
welcome back to Xtreme. While Ian's cleaning up the shop, I'm taking our new Sorp truck for a test run. First to the parts store to show this Ford off. What's up, guys?
Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Nice truck.
This is the latest one we're building right now.
Huge, man. It's nice.
Uh-huh.
What all have y'all done to it?
Heavy-duty bumpers. I painted those myself, by the way. Yes. Lift kit, heavy-duty skid plates, wheels and tires. Out on the road, the truck works great. The extra power from the Bully Dog Triple Dog really woke up this 3/4 ton where it was needed. By lifting the truck 4 inches, the road manners at highway speeds feel like stock. But the extra 140 horses can put you back in your seat when you mash the gas. The Outlook monitor makes it easy to keep our eye on the engine's vital signs. And the on-the-fly power adjusting means we can keep the engine in stock tune until we need that little something extra. A 35-inch tire on this truck is only about 1 inch taller than the stock wheel and tire combo. This means we won't lose any of that low-end torque when we need it the most. Off-road, the benefits of this total package truck are obvious. Increased ground clearance, extra power, plus the ability to air down our off-road tires. This truck rocks! There you go, guys, a special off-road production truck that'll handle all of your heavy-duty needs, whether it's government work, construction work, or stuff for your own home. All you gotta do is just build it yourself. We'll see you next week.